So if you've been watching lately, you know that I've been a little let down by the Glowforge Aura. It's good, but it broke on me once, and I don't know, little things just keep going wrong every time I use it, and that keeps it from being the amazing, wonderful, easy machine that I hoped it was going to be. So today, I am trying out the xTool M1, which is what I would consider to be the Aura's main competitor. Now, I should mention that xTool reached out and offered to send this to me. I told them no, because I was already planning to buy it at that point, and I didn't want to be biased when I talked about it. Now, I am still not sure if that was the right call, so if you're finding this useful, please tell me in the comments below. Validate my questionable financial decisions. Let's jump in. Okay, so first difference. xTool has its own downloadable software. It's not web-based, which is actually probably a good thing, but it also means you have to download and install some software. Okay, by the way, this is the first time I've ever used this creative suite. I have no idea what I'm doing right now. You are getting the authentic, clueless person here. I'm gonna start by just deleting everything, or deleting all but one of the things. Now what? I legitimately don't know what to do next. There's my thing. Maybe I need to connect the device. So here we are at my kind of ugly station. Oh, and it also came with these triangles, which I think go under the material. Oh, it's in metric. Metric. Can I make it not in metric? Is there settings? Inches, yes. Okay. Good news. That was easy to change out of metric, everyone. Not a crisis. Oh, it auto measures the thickness. That's kind of cool. Okay, I wonder what this framing button does. Sure, we'll try it. Go. Oh. So it just kind of tells me where it's gonna land. I like it. Cool. You can do cylindrical, that's right. You can do rotary things on this. Open plane, blade cut. So we're gonna go max power, lowest speed. See what that does. Okay, you don't have to do any calibration annoying stuff. It just goes. Wow. Wow. One thing that I like about the Glowforge over the xTool is that the xTool doesn't really seem to be giving me an estimate of how long this is going to take, and I wish it would. Okay, and that was not cutting all the way through. It's very burnt, and I'm not entirely sure why. It wasn't burning it in the beginning, and then it was getting very, very burnt. And it's still not all the way through. So that went well. The Aura can cut through 1/4-inch plywood as well. But so far, all the settings I've used with it, it's been kind of burnt at the end. Okay, this took 22 minutes, and this time it didn't go all the way through. I'm gonna have it, not 4 passes, 2 more passes? It seems so random. So it's all cut, and I figured I'd tell you a little bit about my first thoughts while I assembled this. Okay, so things to know. It was super fast, especially compared with the processing and alignment and all that jazz that the Glowforge has to do. I was really pleased with the speed increase on the xTool, so that was nice. I didn't find their design space to be that difficult. It was certainly a little bit more complicated than the Glowforge because there's more you can do with it. Even if you have premium, there's not all that much you can do. Whereas this, I didn't really explore, but it had a lot more buttons. So gonna assume there's more you can do, and you don't have to pay for it. Whereas if you don't pay for Glowforge Premium, you can move your thing around, and that's about it. With Glowforge app, you can't flip, or I think you can change the sides, but you can't flip, you can't crop, you can't do any of that without paying for Glowforge Premium, which is kind of pricey. Whereas this, it's totally free. You can do some manipulations in the app itself, which you have to download. So boo for downloading. Although actually there are advantages to the download. You're not really in danger of Glowforge coming back and being like, okay, now you have to pay to use this machine. Like I think Cricut did a year or two ago, and there was a lot of outrage and they backed down from it. And you're not tied to Wi-Fi. It's another big thing about it being software. I also thought the cutting itself seemed faster. I need to check that, so don't quote me. Like, I'm gonna do some more tests before I do the official comparison video. But if I remember right, this sort of thing took hours when I was doing it with the Glowforge. And it certainly wasn't fast on the xTool M1, but it was, I don't know, maybe 20 minutes for one of these pieces. The most important thing to me was that it just worked. I didn't have to spend 20 minutes trying to figure out what I was doing wrong, which is something that has happened over and over again with the Glowforge. It also had an on-off switch, which I really like. The Glowforge doesn't, and that was a bummer. I like that I'm able to turn it off. It does make more noise when you're not using it though. Like there isn't a sleep mode, so you really do have to remember to turn it off. Things I didn't love, that I've noticed so far, it's a little harder to make sure that your wood is perfectly like straight in the machine. The Glowforge has that nice honeycomb underneath it, which makes it really easy to be sure that your wood is straight because you just line it up with the honeycomb. But between the little triangular prisms that it has you put it on, you're a solid ½ inch off the base, so you can't really be sure if it's straight. Oh, that was more than I intended. Whoops. I think the base is more of it doesn't have a grid on it. I kind of wish the base had a grid on it. There might be one you could buy. I wouldn't be surprised if you could buy a grid thing. But the one it came with was not a grid shape. I also didn't really see any improvement in the Glowforge over the niceness of the cut. Both seem to have some variation, that it would cut all the way through in some spots, but not all the way through in others, no matter how many times I did the passes. Finally, I'd say that the user interface was a little more complicated, which makes sense considering I think there's more you can do with the software on the xTool than there is with the Glowforge software. And it's software, not a web interface. So pluses and minuses to that, I guess. Overall though, I'm excited to keep playing with it. Like it was good. I don't know if I'd say it's exceeded expectations yet. I don't know what my expectations were, but it was good. I'm gonna keep playing and see what else I can do with it. All in all, I am excited to keep playing with it. We'll see what I think in a week or two after I've tried more of the features. I wanna make sure that I've played with it enough, a lot, before I do the whole like Glowforge versus xTool video, just so I, am a reliably informed source. But if you wanna see that, it will come out eventually. So make sure you stick around or if it's out already, I'll put it right here. Until then, thanks, subscribe, and I'll see you next time.